Good evening from lovely Hobe Sound, Florida. I'm here on the far coast doing an evaluation visit of another Bible college. Every 10 years, each Bible college hosts in some of the peers. We take a look at all of its systems and all of its classes and faculty and make sure that they're really doing the job that God has called us to do on higher education people. It's a fun time, although I miss being back at home. This week in our class we'll be looking at the beginning of the process of discipling, which is deciding who it is that God has led us to have a discipling relationship to. And I'm reminded of one year when I was in pastoral ministry, and I just felt led to ask God for a list of people that He really wanted me to direct my disciple-making energies to in the next year. I thought He'd give me 2 or 3 names, and that's probably what most books would tell you that God should have done. But in my case, He gave me a list of 12 names. I was floored. And I knew right then I wouldn't be doing much more that year besides pouring myself into those 12 people. I did a few things, and I kept the church running. But for that one year, I had a delightful time taking those 12 people and really working with them and seeing God at work in their lives. Some of those 12 names are names that I would have expected and anyone would have expected to be on a list of those receiving a special effort and ministry-making effort from the pastor. Others were complete surprises. In fact, when I shared the list with the elders, they worked hard to try to talk me out of 3 or 4 people, and I said, no, these are the names that God has given to me. Well, I won't go into all the details, but I'll say that out of those 12 people, I saw great results with about 7 or 8. I saw moderate results with a couple, and I saw a couple the people I just poured my life into that for a year and saw absolutely no results. In fact, one guy, no matter how hard I worked with him and how we worked together, felt led to leave the church. And so when you have the parable of the 4 soils, I felt that quite personally that year. And I think about the disappointment that Paul must have felt that from time to time when, as hard as he tried to get people to come to a point of unity, they decided instead that they would divide themselves into factions as to who it was that led them to Christ. But of those who stuck with me and stuck with the Lord and grew, there were some great things that happened. There were a couple of marriages that really went through great improvement. There were some new ministries in our church that were spawned. There were a couple of people who felt the call to go into missions. And as a whole, our church had a tremendous season of spiritual growth as the people that I poured my lives into then were challenged toward the ending of that year to pour their lives into others as well. So the 2 things I just wanted to share is number one, when we do disciple making, sometimes we see great results and sometimes we don't, but we do it because God has called us to it. It's the life of living, of being a Christian leader. And secondly, just to challenge each and every one of you to, on a regular basis, ask God, who is it that you want me to pour my life into? Some of those people will be natural, and maybe they're even coming to you and asking that you would lead them deeper into Christ. But there are people that God wants you to touch that you will only discover if you spend time listening to Him, having asked the question, God, who do you want me to disciple in the year or the months to come?